जब ने अभी करा जब दिखाना एक बार
वो तो यूट्यूब पे मिलेगा उसके चैनल पे देखना पड़ेगा।
चैनल पर वो तो देख रहा था इसमें महाभारत है।
अच्छा वो देख रहे थे
वो देख रहा था
कोई और तो चैनल नहीं देख रहे थे ना इसमें।
वेबसाइट
और जितना भी खोलो उतनी टैब बंद कर देना वरना क्या ये नेट कटता है।
हाँ मैंने भैया बंद नहीं करती। हाँ जी सर आ गए बैठो सर।
बाबू हम तो बैठेंगे
बैठो सर बैठो भैया अरे हाँ कहाँ जा रहे हो? अरे भैया अरे आओ ना ये 1 मिनट आप तो सही। नहीं यार तो आओ। अरे वो भी चला था मैं चला लूँगा वो क्या चला था वो यूट्यूब पे जाके कैसे
हो रहा था गूगल खोला हुआ देख ये खोल ये हाँ पीछे वाला
ये
नेट खोला हाँ खोल हो रहा वीडियो क्लिक कर।
सुबह 8:30 बजे रूम नंबर 10 में ली थी क्या फोटो? रूम नंबर 10 से तो 8:30 बजे किस करता है शायद मुझे आपने
इधर 8:30 बजे मैं नहीं आया।
क्या खोलूं?
मैं चला रहा था फोटो।
क्या खोलना है? गूगल
वीडियो खोलना है बाबू।
कहाँ है?
वीडियो कॉल वीडियो
जो आगे लड़का हो सकता है जो आगे लड़का है 20 में 8:30 बजे से मैंने कुछ वीडियो की फोटो खींच ली 8:30 बजे।
There's nobody here.
Yes?
Are you the speaker? Yes. The heart from
You are Lisa. You are Lisa, no?
Liz.
You start the video?
I'm sorry?
You start?
No, how can she start?
No, sorry. So is it okay if we merge your session, my your session with another session, so we can do it like together? Is it possible? That's fine. Since you're trying to still because otherwise oh let me just speak. You please come with me.
सेशन चलते कितने बजे तक इनका?
1 घंटा
हैं?
1 घंटा
Yeah,
वो ना हो वो ना हो
आई थी
अभी आ रही थी वो चले गए वापसी
कौन आई थी
लीजा स्पीकर
अच्छा
मुझे वो ना
शाम तक कितने बजे?
8 बजे
I'll get you some.
8 बजे करेक्ट 8 बजे
They're from the heart center, no? From sleeping giant to so what he is speaking was
combine करें
you want to combine two sessions?
सेशन CN10 में combine करें?
Huh? You want to combine the two sessions?
You can start with
CN10 में क्या है?
Women empowerment.
Advanced discussion, no?
No, it's women empowerment. So they will.
Similar. So you can combine
Yes.
both.
So she can also speak, and there are only 2 speakers there. So we'll have 3 speakers there, and all women can sit together.
अंजलि भैया
It's okay with you?
Wow.
इधर ही अपना लैपटॉप
But
चला
what is the 1 hour session?
यहाँ से हाँ एक ही चीज़ ठीक है और एक अपना ये लैपटॉप वो तो एक से होते
You have a presentation?
Yeah. Not power.
You have a PowerPoint?
No.
No PowerPoint.
ये बीचों बीच में लग रहे हैं ये सभी कॉमेडी
सभी
सेंटर में
नो सेंटर में
सारे
और बॉर्डर में दिखाइए
Well, no. There's no
Then somebody has to come.
No, nobody has to come. No,
Okay.
that's not the way it works.
No, because they don't have it in the chart here.
Then we combine the CN7 and 10. It's 1 hour later. You can't compress it in half an hour. One minute, can you compress it in half an hour? There are already 2 speakers. In CN10? No. Speakers are there, there is no other. In your also we have a speaker ready.
What do you do if you just want to like you did yesterday? 4 times the audience was there, then we did a small round table conference.
बुलाना पड़ेगा ना
On new thought of leadership, self-sovereignty.
यहाँ पे आ जाओ why not the topic is from sleeping giant to self-sovereignty and new thought leadership.
That's what you're reading. What is here? What is here?
No, actually, I'm already in It is on sleeping from sleeping giant to self-sovereignty and new thought leadership. That's the spiritual workshop. Okay, quickly because we are already running late.
I spoke to you last time.
Session was
We connected. For the standard.
yeah, but it's just me.
Yeah, because I'll have to connect to you because I didn't
I had your
number.
because you're already running late. We have to start. She said what?
So I'll get connected to you.
I think we need to sit up there.
Yes, let us move ahead.
Yes, it's going to be interactive. Okay. I'll just get some more.
You can start.
अभी तक तो मैंने 2 सेशन नहीं हुआ
From sleeping jacket. That should be very interesting. Yeah, the auric field. Yeah, absolutely. Shall we begin? We can begin. Okay. With my collected audience. Yes. Great. Come back. 2 minutes. Yeah. From a few points. Yeah, I'll sit here. Just. Yeah. I need to talk to her. Yes, please. We can begin. Okay.
You can start.
Yeah.
Take 1 minute. Only 5 minutes only.
5 minutes or 5 seconds?
5 minutes.
Waiting for people to say, okay, come on side.
मैम ओनली प्लीज लाइव हो रहा है मैम ये यूट्यूब पे लाइव आ रहा है प्लीज
YouTube में लाइव जा रहा है
मैम टेस्ट
Om Shanti.
ओम शांति।
Good afternoon.
माइक नहीं चल रहा है ऐसा।
The mic on, I think.
ऑन है?
Okay, better?
Yes.
I can hear myself. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much for being here. Okay. I am Liz Velazquez, and I'm from North Carolina, USA, and I have a retreat center in North Carolina. It's a spiritual retreat center where I teach all types of modalities as far as meditation, yoga, Kundalini yoga, the Enneagram, contemplative living, and also lots of, I do a lot of healing work, and I work with couples or groups or individuals who are suffering from depression, anxiety, or who are having issues with their relationships. And I also have a not-for-profit for abused, neglected, and disadvantaged children, which is called Light on the Mountain. And we bring children that are 6 to 12 to camp and to experience the outdoors, and also to learn about character building and build self-esteem, and also healing work, because a lot of these kids have gone through a lot of trauma. And so we help them to become more confident, more positive, and to realize that they can overcome those obstacles that have been placed before them. So, first of all, I want to say a quote by Ramana Maharishi. My talk is from sleeping giant to self-sovereignty and to new thought leadership. The reason I say sleeping giant is because a lot of the times we don't realize it, but we are sleeping giants. We are giants regardless of whether we realize it or not. And so, at first, I believe that I felt, you know, as a child, that I was I didn't know I was sleeping because nobody tells you that, right? And but I felt something within me that was bigger and greater than what the experience I was having. So one example of that, I'll give you an example of that. One example of that is that when I was about 8 years old, I fell in love for the first time. And I fell in love with a boy that was I used to live in South America, and in Colombia we usually had people who helped you at home, like, you know, you'd call it a maid, but now it would be more like a house assistant, let's say, to be politically correct. And so we had a person that helped my mom with all the chores and things like that. And this 8-year-old boy was her son. And so he basically hung around the house sometimes while his mom worked. And I fell in love with him, and we sort of in the way that any 8-year-old child can do, right? So one day we were in a room and we were underneath the table, and we were just kind of getting acquainted, I guess you could say. And so, but somebody walked into the room, an adult walked into the room, and immediately we were pulled apart. Immediately, it seemed like a revolution happened in the house. And so I got pulled away, he got pulled away, and I got put in my room. And so I asked my older brother, who was a little bit more savvy than I was at the time, I asked him, what happened? What just happened, right? And they told me that I was not to play with him, that I wasn't to be with him, and that, you know, he needed to stay away and I needed to stay away. So I asked my brother, I said, what happened? And my brother said, don't you understand? They're not like us. The implication was that because he was the maid's son, that he was different from myself, okay? And that struck me very badly in my inner being, in my inner core. But we were separated, and he was relegated to the kitchen, and we were to be upstairs, and he wasn't to be up anymore into the main house. This continued for a while, but in my heart, it hurt so badly that this was happening, and my core again knew that this was not right. So one day we met up on like the 4th floor. Somehow he was sent upstairs by his mother to pick up water or something like that. And I happened to be going upstairs, and we met in the terrace. And we looked at each other, and we knew we weren't supposed to be together, but we looked at each other, and I looked at him and I said, I just want you to know that I don't believe what they're telling me. I don't believe in what they're saying. We're not different. And so in that moment, the only thing that happened was that he grabbed me by the hand and he pulled me towards him and gave me a kiss. But it was just such a fantastic feeling to be reconciled with that, because I felt guilty that this feeling was there, and that he could possibly think that I would think he was different. So this brings me to that quote. The quote says, "Why being free do we imagine that we are bound?" That's from Ramana Maharishi. And the reason we feel we're bound is because it's very easy, actually, to explain. As we come into this world as little children, we're living the expectations of the adults. And we're being told by the collective consciousness of the time, we're being told that what we are, right? So I just want everyone around the room to kind of tell me what, this is the first box we move into in our lives. We move into a box, a confinement, if you will, a limitation. So can you tell me, that was one of my first boxes. It was, this is economic status. What your economic status is determines who you are, right? That was one of the boxes. That was very clear in South America and Colombia during the 1960s. It was, where you fit in the economic status, that's who you are. So that was one of the boxes. So can you tell me, to give me an example of a box, a limitation, any kind of, or not even a limitation, it can be any. It can be, it doesn't have to be a limitation, but it was something you were told as a child that you carried with you because adults who were supposed to know better told you that was true.
That's a very big deal, especially maybe 20-25 years back. So when I was about to enter that stage of my life, my mom cautioned me and she said, when you hit that and you have your periods, you're not supposed to talk to or even look at any boy. You have to be careful. So that was a very big box. And it was, it had a lot of inhibitions. My brother, his friend, I was like, no, you can't interact with them.
Great, fantastic. Anybody else have an example that they'd like to share, something they were told?
I run a school, and the parents in my town, it's a co-ed school for small children. But very often you'll find mothers saying, let all the girls sit together on one side of the classroom. Why are they sharing the seats with the boys? And that's when I counsel them, then why are they coming to a co-ed school? They should be going to a girls' school. No, it's okay, but let them be on the other side and let the boys sit together. So those boxes are still there. It's not that they have gone.
Oh, they're still there, absolutely. And that's the first stage, as we're children. I mean, nobody else wants to give an example?
I guess in India, we have a different kind of, like, at least my generation and the generation before me. Today it is different. But say 30, 40 years back, it was like, as a girl, you are only supposed to do certain things and not supposed to do because you are a girl.
Absolutely.
So, like, I was told not to laugh loudly. Girls don't laugh, with your mouth open, your hearty laugh. It's not allowed in families. Then you're not supposed to climb trees while you're a girl. And the same way that you said as a child, and this maid's son, so we had Iron Man in our society who would iron all our clothes, and we used to want to play with they had two sons and they would come to play with us, and then we were not allowed, after some time, that you're not supposed to be playing because they are from that family.
Exactly.
So these are limitations.
Right, and so if we look at the limitations, we can start with something as basic as girl, boy, okay, that's a limitation in and of itself, okay? I was told the same thing, you don't play sports. Women in Colombia at that time did not play sports. So we were confined to doing things that were supposedly girl things, but yet I had two brothers and I loved to play with them and I wanted to be with them, So this collective consciousness, wherever it is, cultural, economic, religious, you're Colombia, you're Catholic, right? Different places, where I'm from right now in North Carolina, very Baptist, and that brings with it certain things that you have to abide by, that the collective consciousness says you have to abide by. So we grow up with all these limitations, and we live with all these set guidelines. And limitations, I tell you, don't have to be negative. In other words, we're looking at this with the connotation that it's negative, but it can be something that we believe to be positive as well. So, because any extreme of any kind, so to give you an example of something, you might think that you're told that, you know, you become a doctor, right? And there's this title. Well, that title that supposedly is something positive brings with it
Its limitations.
all kinds of limitations.
That's true.
Absolutely. I see people using it in the United States a lot, PhD. You know, people put PhD. That is a connotation, and it brings with it certain attitudes. And I saw in the university lots of PhDs who had attitudes, you know, that came with that title, okay? And so what we want to look at is we want to look at those boxes that we place on ourselves and that society places on us, and that they really have very little to do with who we truly are. So I talked about that first box. And you know, another thing that I heard when I was little, when I came to the United States, things shifted. And that's why I learned about these boxes, or the idea that we come into these set of rules that we're supposed to live by. When I came to the United States, all of a sudden they said, you can play sports. All the girls played sports. I went crazy. I won the Presidential Physical Fitness Award because I could run, I could jump, I could do anything, and it was, wow. So I played tennis. A teacher at school decided that I had some talent and said she'll teach me tennis after school. Well, the roles were somewhat reversed because here's another, situational condition that occurred, was that from being in South America and being from I'd say middle class, upper middle class family, okay, come to the United States as an immigrant. And all of a sudden, the status shifted, okay? We were no longer, my mom divorced the first year that she got to the United States. Why? Because she could, because in Colombia she couldn't, because they would take the kids away. The first year she got to the US, she found out she could get a divorce. You notice how the different cultural values and attitudes are affecting us and taking away our freedom, our ability to express who we truly are. And so at that point she realized she could get a divorce, where many women in Colombia could not. She got a divorce, and so she became a single parent, and she was raising 4 kids as a single parent. So we were poor. We all of a sudden had roles reversed. The interesting part was that this woman at this school, this teacher, taught me tennis. And tennis, as we all know, is sort of an elitist game. It's not for the poor kids. It's really meant to be, according to society, for the elite kids. That's why we have golf courses in high-end neighborhoods, and we have tennis courts, and we have, call it hockey, some of those sports that the elitists can play. And then we have basketball courts and football fields or soccer fields in poor neighborhoods, unfortunately, because the society is geared towards that. And so what ended up happening was I became pretty good at tennis, and I started to play tournaments. But because my mom was working full-time and didn't have really the appreciation for tennis as a Colombian woman, I was pretty much left to fend for myself. So I had a broken down tennis racket, I had some ragged shoes, and I had some basic shorts. I think they were even cutoffs. And so, but I wanted to play tennis, and so I signed up for a tennis tournament. I was going to the tennis tournament, and I had to take the bus because we didn't have transportation, so I had to take the bus. Well, the bus was late, and so I went ahead and got on the bus eventually and went to the tennis tournament. When I got to the tennis tournament, I had been defaulted by 5 minutes, so I couldn't play. So the judge looked at me and said, "Why were you late?" I said, "Because I couldn't get, the bus didn't come on time, and so I couldn't get here on time." So he said, "Well, I think that the girl that's playing the tennis match that was playing you is still here, and her mother, and they're here, so we're going to talk to them." So they brought them over, and the mother and the daughter were the epitome of perfect tennis family, right? So the mother was impeccably dressed. She had the daughter's water bottle. The daughter was dressed in a Fila tennis tennis outfit, and you know what Fila is, top of the line tennis outfit. She was tan. She had incredible shoes. She had 5 tennis rackets under her arm. And I was like, okay. And they said to them, this girl just got here and she wanted to play. She was late because the bus didn't come in time. Would you like to play? And the mother and the daughter looked at me, and then they said, I'm going to step away for a minute. They stepped away, and then they came back and they said, no. And so I didn't get to play. Another situational, moment where I realized that what we are has nothing to do with the cultural concerns, the situational, the mores and goals and ideals of the society. And so I started to pay attention to these things that were holding me back and that were kind of, determining my potential without me having any say in the matter. So that's pretty much where the giant was kind of, the giant within me was waking up, was saying, I need to know more of this, right? Krishnamurti says that we're walking dead, that a lot of us are walking asleep. We don't wake up. We don't wake up to our truth because we're being told exactly what we should be. You get a job, you get a career. I don't know in India, but in the U.S., children are basically told you're going to take piano lessons, you're going to go to you're going to go to karate, you're going to do French lessons. Everything is predetermined for them, and their schedule is so packed full they have no time to realize who they truly are. So they grow up not knowing and basically going through life in a conditioned environment. So what happens then? Finally. We're being taught to act in the drama that is the society, right? The drama that we are told is reality, but in truth is illusion. And we are being told, you need to conform to the drama, be part of it. So when so one of the things that I feel is important in this is that we need to shake off that drama. We need to shake off these chains and these conditions and these walls and boxes that have been placed around us. So I want to invite you to do an exercise. This is part of Osho's meditation. Are you familiar with Osho? Anybody familiar with Osho? Okay, come on up. Come on up a little bit. Okay, stand up. There are many ways to meditate, as I'm sure everybody here knows. But this is one meditation that I learned from Osho that I like a lot because it really speaks to us about releasing all this bondage that Ramana Maharishi talks about. So I want you to start. We're going to start by this is a very simple thing that we can do in the shower, that we can do in the morning, and it's first of all start shaking your head. Just shake your head. Think about the fact that you are right now releasing all these chemicals, all this boundedness, and allow everything to just go. Even your brain right now is getting a massage, and it's releasing endorphins, it's releasing tension, it's releasing stress, it's releasing old ideas, concepts, paradigms that were given to us as children and that we may still have. Even the hurts, the pain, all of that is stuck inside us in this energetic body. And so we want to shake it off. Now we want to bring in that other second half of the body, and feel yourself. This is just the second half of the body with the head, okay? Let it go, release it, okay? Be free, okay? That's it. Feel the stiffness in us because we're so used to not letting go, okay? We're so used to confinement. Even to our bodies, we're used to being confined, okay? So we want to release that confinement. We want to open up all our cells to the potential. Quantum physicists are telling us that we are only potential. They could not find a seed
They could not find the seed that was Liz or the seed that is Bandana, okay? And all your cards are turning the other way. Or Pranati, okay? They couldn't find a seed that would determine exactly what she was. All they could find was potential. They could find all these molecule cells and things, and that would basically align any way that we wanted to align them. And so right now we're going to include the whole body, and we're going to shake completely. Here we go. Really let it go. Feel the energy releasing. Okay, the tightness. That's it. I want to shake off everything they told me. Even things that I told myself, that I questioned, that I decided were right because my friends told me at school, or my parents told me that I should do that. We want to shake it all off. Just release it. Start fresh. Start anew. That's it. All right. Okay. Can you feel the energy right now? Feel your body. Feel what's happening to it. It's alive. It's alive. It's moving. It's saying she's changing things. Okay? They're changing. Something inside of us is changing. I can readjust. I can realign. Okay? And that means realign mind, body, and spirit. Not just the physical body, but we just shook up all the molecules and all the cells. Okay? So, the second box, okay, is the one we create. The second box is the one we create. As we become adults, and the teenage years, everybody kind of rebels and says, wait a minute, I don't believe what you're saying, and I don't want to be like you, and I want to be my own person, and this and that. And we move into that second box, which is the one we create, that says, I am whatever, tell me what you are. Yes, tell me what you are. I mean, it could be your career, whatever you want to tell me. Whatever you want to tell me.
Free spiritually empowered person and wanting to do something for everyone.
Okay, perfect. Okay, somebody else?
I'm a free spirit. Got my freedom quite recently.
Okay.
Came out of my own bonds.
Okay, great. Okay.
Going on from there.
Okay.
I don't think so. I put myself in a box.
Okay.
I may be playing the roles, but I don't think I put myself a label like that.
Okay.
I'm aware of it, that I am playing the roles. So that thing is, that awareness is there.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Good. Good. You just came in. Join us.
I am aligned.
You're what?
Aligned.
Aligned. Okay. All right.
I'm a free soul and involving everything.
Okay.
I'm still in a box with certain things. Need to come out of it. Responsibilities are heavy. So after that is taken care of, then I guess I'll be free spirit.
Okay. All right. So what are you? I'm a work in progress. I'm a work in progress, and I guess I would also answer in a way that Meghna. The way that she answered was appropriate in the sense that I'm aware that I put myself in boxes at times. That the ego is very sharp. Okay, Maya is so powerful that even in our awakening, we get caught by Maya putting us in a box. So I've met a lot of spiritual people that say, I'm a spiritual person, and they're carrying that as their box. And I mean really carrying it as their box. Okay? So I'm very cautious now. I'm very cautious. I'm very cautious about what is awakening, what is God, all the things that people are now, you hear so many things as, I'm a river, I flow. I mean, we have all these cliches, and the cliches are boxes, they become our mantras, and so I want to break away from even the things that I think are better, because even in that conditioning, that becomes a conditioning, and so I want to question it all.
Like meditation can also be addictive.
Meditation can be, that's a perfect example. Thank you for bringing that up, because I have met so many people that say, I meditate all the time, you know, and that becomes their way of running away.
Yes.
Where we continuously, ego loves to keep us chained in something that we can learn. People do yoga for that very reason, you know, physical yoga. It's like yoga becomes the addiction. And so, and they're telling you about all the poses they know and this and that, but they're not free. They're not free. And so that's the part that I wanted to bring about in that second thought, is that even in our awake state where we start to get a little more conscientious, we can fall into the trap of thinking, you know, oh, I'm a vegetarian. How many people say I'm vegetarian and they carry it like the badge? It's a label. It's a label, and it's a way of saying I'm better than you are because I'm more advanced, because I'm a vegetarian, right? And so we have to be very careful. I'm a spiritual being. That's a cliche that everybody uses. I'm a spiritual being, but they're not really practicing it, but they're saying it, you know. And so that's the part that I like to be very, very cautious about. One of the things that happened to me is that I got married early on because I wanted to prove my mom wrong, because she said men were all bad because of her experience, right? So there's a box that came into my life because she had a bad experience, therefore she hated men. So I said, I'm going to prove you wrong. So with my box was I'm going to be a happy wife, right? And it's going to be okay. Well, so I met this person and I married him, and he was very knowledgeable intellectually. And I was very young and naive, and I didn't know a lot. And so he said one time to me, he said, where have you been sleeping? And that was like a message. I didn't realize what that message was, but it was a message. So in the first part of my life, in the part where I was, something I want to regress through a little bit, is that I also heard a message then. I heard a message from a unity minister, and a unity church is a metaphysical church in the United States. It's also in other countries. But it's a metaphysical church that teaches truth principles. So when we were 13, we were introduced to the metaphysical church by a friend of my dad's. And I sat at that church, and I heard the minister, he was looking at the congregation, and he looked at them and he said, I see that you're all doing quite well. You drive nice cars, and you know, you have nice clothes, and you look great, you know. And he said, but I want to tell you something. There is no car fancy enough for you. There is no house big enough for you. No worldly possession good enough to satisfy you. I heard that. Something in my inner being heard that. Just like I heard with the young boy, I realized that was not a truth I wanted to integrate into my being. That day at that Unity Church, I heard that. That said something to me, but I wasn't sure what it was. But I could feel it. I could, you know, like it's something that you know to be true. So when I heard the one, you're sleeping, where have you been sleeping? That was another moment of awakening. But I took it as he knows so much more than I do that I'm lacking, you know, in some way. And so I set out on a journey to educate myself. I was going to go to college. You know, I was going to educate myself. I was going to learn about literature, art, history, culture, everything that he knew that made me feel bad, you know, that didn't make me feel right. So I developed that package. There was another package. And so, you know, that became a reason for me to develop, okay? But I was still not myself. Even with all of that, I realized that wasn't who I was. okay? That I didn't want to flaunt an education, that I didn't want to act like someone who, you know, was better than other people because of what they had learned. That was not part of who I was. And so that was the box of adulthood and the trap of the world, really. I became a real estate broker, became successful in real estate, and yet all along I felt that my path was not of the world, that I wasn't going to be satisfied with the things of the world, and that it didn't hold me, it didn't captivate me. And so what ended up happening, as does for most of us, is that all of a sudden there was a shattering. There was a moment in my life when things collapsed. First, my brother died when he was 30 years old, and I saw his passing, and I saw my mom when she saw him in the bed, dead. She collapsed, and she had a seizure. She went into a different world at that moment. Her grief, her pain was so strong and so powerful. And she started convulsing, and I was trying to keep her from leaving me. I was trying to keep her from going. And that shook me up at my very core. Knowing that my brother was gone, that my mom was about to leave me as well in that moment. And I had a little boy, and he was 7 years old at the time. And I asked him, go get some ice and water, because I didn't know what else to do to wake my mom out of this trance that she went into. And so I said to him, go get some water. And he was standing at the doorway. He was having to go through this whole process. And he said, there's something in the hallway. He could sense that there was somebody in the hallway, but there wasn't anybody in the hallway according to the physical material matter, you know. But there was. I'm sure my mom and my brother were there meeting, you know, probably deciding what they were going to do, right? What was going to happen at this moment. I hit my mom, you know, and tried to wake her up as much as I could. Please don't leave me, please don't leave me. And eventually she came to. She came back. Life was dramatically different from that point on in my life. My brother wasn't supposed to die. It wasn't the script that I was told. You know, people live, you know, children live until after their parents die and they grow old and they have a family and so forth. But that didn't happen. That didn't happen. You know, he was gone. 4 years later, my mom died. She had a massive stroke, and I was actually doing my real estate business. I had flown to Paris, it was very successful, and I had done a tour of Europe with my son and my husband. And I was coming back on the plane, and I was saying, I'm on top of the world. You know, I mean, really at that point, I felt successful. I had clients waiting for me. I had money. I had everything that, you know, health, happiness, I guess you could call it, worldly happiness. And I was on that plane thinking that. The next day was my mom's birthday. And I called her up, and I said to her, you know, I talked with her, and I gave her a happy birthday. And she said to me, what she said to me at that point, and because of my brother's death, her life had also been transformed. She was a changed person in a lot of ways. And so what basically happened is that I told her, I said, enjoy your day. She said, I feel like dancing. I'm so happy that I feel like dancing. And I said, go dance, you know. I'll treat you to whatever you want. Just go dance, you know. And she said, I want to tell you something. If I go now, I'm ready. I'm ready. She died 2 days later. And again, my world, the success of real estate, the the money, the family, nothing could fill the void. Nothing could fill the emptiness. And the feeling of, I don't have control over this world. I had set out to have control. I had educated myself. I had, developed a good career. I had, I had pretty much decided that I was going to make my life what I wanted it to be. And yet the universe told me something different. The universe said, you're not in control. Life isn't about what you think it is, right? And I was meditating at a time. I attended Unity Church and learned metaphysics and trained in different modalities and so forth, but I was still in the world. My mom dies. 2 years later, my dad dies. He was young, had a heart attack, and all of a sudden, I have no mom, no dad, my brother's gone, and things just kind of snowballed, over and over and over and over again. 2 years later, I was with a friend having lunch at a restaurant, and my friend said that he had been working out. The doctor had told him he was in great shape, wonderful, everything was perfect, but he needed to exercise. He needed to, work out a little bit to strengthen his muscles. So he had proceeded to sign up for the gym, and he was working out, and he was doing all kinds of exercises, and he said the night before he had worked out really hard, and he was hurting. He was hurting here, he was hurting, and he said, I'm hurting. And so I told him, I said, well, can I do anything? He said, no. I said, maybe on the way home we can get an aspirin. So I said, yeah, we stopped at the drugstore, and we got some aspirin for him. And when we got to the house, he said, I don't feel good. I'm going to call my doctor. I feel funny in my arms. I feel my chest. So I said, would you like me to take you to the hospital? He said, no. He said, I just want to call my doctor. So he called his doctor, got the answering service, and we waited. And he said, will you give me a massage while maybe it'll help me feel better. I said, sure. So he laid down on the ground, and I proceeded to give him a massage. And we were kidding around, joking, about something. I don't remember what it was, but we were kidding around. And he started to laugh, and then he choked, and then he couldn't breathe. And right there before my eyes, he disappeared. He died at 50. And I called 911, and I sat on the phone with 911, which is the emergency service in the United States. And I said, help me, please help me. He's not breathing. They said, just wait, we're calling the paramedics. Where are you? Get him. It didn't matter. He was gone. He was gone. They came, they revived him, because they can do that, but he was literally a vegetable, brain dead, and had massive heart attacks all the way to the hospital, and he was gone in an instant, in a second. And my life, what I realized, and I didn't realize it really at that time, but here all these things had happened to me that I said, I'm checking out. That's it. There's something not right here, and I need to check out. At the time, I already owned a retreat center in North Carolina, the retreat center, and I had left the real estate business, and I had pursued my spiritual work. I had made a commitment with God to create a center for peace and for love and for healing for people. And I was proceeding with that process. But this rocked my world, and I just stayed in that place, in the retreat center by myself, every night talking to the stars, talking to God, talking to myself, saying, what is going on here? And I realized that we think we have control. The ego wants us to think we have control, but there's a bigger plan out there. There's a much bigger plan, and that plan unfolds as it needs to for our development, for our awakening, for the realization that there's more to this life than what meets the eye, the physical senses. We are much, much, much more than those physical senses. And so, that being said, one of the things that I realize is that it's so important to live in the moment, to be present, because with a snap of a finger, your life can turn. And so being in the present moment became really important to me. You know, realizing that every person that I meet is there for that instant, and that I won't take for granted the fact that they're there for me in that instant, that I want to be present for them, you know, and really hold that relationship, because it can be gone very quickly, and that our impact is right here, right now. So I want to invite you to come over, and we're going to do an exercise on being present in the moment, if you don't mind. Would you like to do that? Okay, so let's do this exercise, because I want to help with this part of our lives that is about being here now and enjoying the moment. Okay? So come on over, find a partner, okay? And if you want, you can go ahead and turn the chairs. I'm just going to turn the chairs around like this. So get a couple of chairs and just kind of face each other. Face each other. Okay?
Is there any odd number?
We'll see if there's an odd number. Yeah. Are you doing it together? Okay, good. Okay, perfect. So we're doing it.
आपको photo लेना पड़ेगा.
Okay. Okay. This exercise is absolutely wonderful. So what you're going to do is one of you is going to be a speaker and the other one is going to answer a question. So one is going to ask a question and the other one is going to answer it. So pick who's going to answer the question and who's going to ask the question. Okay? All right. So here it is. I'm going to give you the question. How are you feeling love right now? That's the question. So for those of you who are asking the question, you're going to ask the question, how are you feeling love right now? Now, what the person that's answering is going to do is they're going to answer the question as whatever comes to mind. Okay? As soon as, hold on one second. As soon as the person that answers the question answers it, I want the person who is asking the question to ask it again. How are you feeling love right now? In other words, you don't stop. You keep going, and you keep going, and you keep going. You're going to keep saying, how are you feeling love right now? And the other person's going to keep answering. Okay? So go ahead, please.
Go.
Go. Yeah.
How are you feeling the love right now? How are you feeling the love right now? How are you feeling the love? 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 How
Okay, all right, fantastic. All right, okay, now let's switch, okay? Now the person who was asking is going to be answering. Same question. All right. Thank you. Okay. Boy, was that interesting, guys?
Interesting.
Wasn't that interesting? I want you to just kind of, I listened to everybody around the room, and I want you to know that part of this exercise is that it teaches us that the ego loves to run away. Okay? The ego loves to run away. One of the ways it runs away, and I'm not going to pick on, I don't want to pick on anybody, but I want to give you some examples, okay? Because it is important for us to note when we're running away from the present moment. You were saying, fantastic, 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 fantastic. You got stuck, right? When we get stuck, we stop living the present moment. When we fixate, okay? Some food for thought. You interpret it the way that you want to, okay? But I want to tell you that the fact that you fixated on something meant that you were not present to so many other possibilities that were available to you, right? Then you fixated on good.
After you moved out, it became very good.
Let's get
That was so honest.
Right. I noticed, and I forgot your name. Meghna. I noticed Meghna was very present, very extremely present in. She was expressing everything that was affecting her right then and there. Okay? That's the objective. The objective is to be present right here. Because it's easy. A lot of times we close our eyes. Closing our eyes is a form of running away from this moment, right? How many of us, if you were looking at the exercise, did you say, how am I feeling love right now? I'm feeling love by looking into your eyes. I'm feeling love by the color of your dress. I'm feeling love by breathing the air around me right now. Okay? I'm feeling love doing this exercise. You see, it's continuously staying in this moment, not going someplace else. So I heard by meditating, okay? Well, you weren't meditating there. You were doing an exercise. You see, by meditating was moving away. And that's what we do a lot in our life. We move to the past. We move to things that make us feel good. You know, your honesty, and other people have felt it the same. Uncomfortable. Couldn't feel the love right then and there. Very important realization, right? It opens us up to what's up here. You know, I'm not feeling love right now. I want to address that. I want to look at that. I want to awaken to that. Can somebody give me other examples? What did you feel in talking?
When I kept on asking her, I could feel what she was feeling. Like she said, I can hear the music in my veins.
Okay.
You know, and I could feel it.
Yeah.
As much as she felt it.
Okay.
So that was alive.
That's right. You said, what am I supposed to feel? Right? Critical question. What am I supposed to feel? I remember a while back, several years ago, my son, who has some difficulty with emotion, okay, and we were sitting in meditation and with a spiritual teacher, and people were connecting with this spiritual teacher, right? Normally people do, they look at their eyes and, you know, they kind of bring you into that mode, just like the guru that came to visit us, and I'm terrible with names, so I couldn't even. Ramdev. Okay. Beautiful soul, and you know, we were sitting there with this person, and my son said, "What am I supposed to feel?" Right? Couldn't integrate it. Couldn't bring it into that live present moment. And so that's what we want to be alert to. In meditation, and I know I'm talking to a very enlightened group, but at the same time, people say all the time, you know, we have to stop thinking. You don't have to stop thinking to meditate. You never can stop thinking. The brain automatically stops by itself when we don't focus our attention on the thoughts, right? But if we're saying, I want to stop thinking, we're focusing our attention on the thoughts, they're never going to stop, right?
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Or want me to wait till
No,
after?
you can ask a question now.
Yeah, but do we have 5
Okay, 5 minutes, got it.
Do you have, in your experience, have you found that certain personalities are more difficult to feel than others?
That's what Ramana Maharishi would say. That's an error of thought. And the reason I say that's an error of thought is because we're all the same in our core. We're all the same, but we perceive things differently because of what the experiences that we might have had, which are all illusion, by the way, which is the point I'm trying to make. We come to our self-sovereignty by realizing that we truly are those beautiful beings that are perfect and complete. Okay? We lack nothing. We lack nothing. But we want to fill it with the world. We have been mesmerized. Okay? We have been mesmerized. Joel Goldsmith says that we're living basically like with a white rabbit in the room. We think there's a white rabbit in the room, but there's no white rabbit in the room. Okay? And we live with that white rabbit. The white rabbit is, our illnesses. The white rabbit is our psychosis. The white rabbit is, our pain body. All of that is an illusion that we have decided to buy into, because nobody's helping us to realize that these things do not really have power over us. Okay? In our self-sovereignty, when we come into our own and live through our power, we can basically override all those things. The truth cannot be put down. It cannot. Okay? And so I invite you to realize that whatever it is that that makes us different is only because our uniqueness comes from, we all have different gifts. We all have different talents to offer the world. That's our uniqueness. But we're all the same in our divinity. Okay? Where we feel different, okay, in the sense of what we can accomplish, or or maybe the strength that we don't feel as strong or whatever, that comes from the error of thought. So find the error of thought. Find the training, the box that put that there, okay? Because it's important to look at that, okay? In my work as a healer, I literally take the person back, we got to get to that place where all of a sudden the little girl stopped believing, or stopped, loving, or stopped feeling confident, or decided that she was just going to be a wife or whatever it was, and now she's unhappy, not fulfilled, doesn't know her happiness, okay? We have to get to that error of thought. If you get to that error of thought, you'll be able to clear it. You'll be able to release it, okay? Through, understanding, and I think it's important for us to have some sort of spiritual guide. And, there are many, many, many guides, but it helps to have some sort of guidance. So, but the reason for this, and self-sovereignty, I say self-sovereignty not because I'm self-sovereign, but because I told this young man that came to the center, I asked him something about fear, and he said, fear isn't real. And he was like 20 years old, and I said, wow, how did you learn that so early in life, right? That fear is not real. And he said, fake it till you make it. So I'm faking it till I make it. Okay? Somebody asked me why I wear white. And white is a symbol of purity in my eyes. I love white. I love what it connotes. And I know that we're getting to this golden age, this new era of life, where purity becomes a way of life. Our purity, the seed, the basic component, but the source of everything is pure. So I want to do everything that I can to remind myself of who I truly am, while I override those error messages that I was given and that media is giving us all the time about what our bodies are and what they're meant to do and so forth, that is anything but holy or pure. Okay? So that's part of it. And also, so that message that we got, that we weren't whole, that we weren't complete, that we need medicines, that we need all these things that are external to us, that's the message from the world. Is the drama. It's the lie. It's the illusion. It's Maya. Every religion says it, you know, and we hear it, but we don't integrate it, and we need to integrate it into our being. So I want to leave you with something from A Course in Miracles. It's very, very powerful. I read this and I wanted to just spread it around. It's called Littleness versus Magnitude. Be not content with littleness, but be sure you understand what littleness is and why you could never be content with it. Littleness is the offering you give yourself. You offer this in place of magnitude, and you accept it. Everything in this world is little because it is a world made out of littleness. In the strange belief that littleness can content you. When you strive for anything in this world in the belief that it will bring you peace, you are belittling yourself and blinding yourself to glory. Littleness and glory are the choices open to your striving and your vigilance. You will always choose one at the expense of the other. Yet what you do not realize, each time you choose, is that your choice is your evaluation of yourself. Choose littleness, and you will have no peace, for you will have judged yourself unworthy of it. And whatever you offer as a substitute is much too poor a gift to satisfy you. It is essential that you accept the fact, and accept it gladly, that there is no form of littleness that can ever control you or content you. You are free to try as many as you wish, but all you will be doing is to delay your homecoming. For you will be content only in magnitude, which is your home. There's a deep responsibility you owe yourself, and this is where the New Thought leadership comes into play. What we need to embrace is that magnitude in order to share with our children, to share with the rest of the world, so that we can all develop that confidence, develop that knowing, that inner knowing that says, I am magnitude. There's a deep responsibility you owe yourself, and one you must learn to remember all the time. The lesson may seem hard at first, but you will learn to love it when you realize that it is true and is but a tribute to your power. You who have sought and found littleness, remember this. Every decision you make stands for what you think you are and represents the value that you put upon yourself. Believe the little can content you, and by limiting yourself, you will not be satisfied. For your function is not little, and it is only by finding your function and fulfilling it that you can escape from littleness.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It was a very, very beautiful session. Thank you very much. Thank you. Can we invite everybody for a photo?
You have your session?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're going to be speaking?
Yeah.
Okay.
This
So
is
I'm going to quickly use the restroom. And
Okay, you're more than welcome to be late.
I won't be late.
I'm going to.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Should I come with you?
No.
What are you going to be speaking on? Pushing for more accurate portrayal of women in advertising.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It'll be fun.
I'm going to move.
Yes. Oh, and Carly, this is my phone. Take some pictures. Yeah. And my, just so you know. I have to change it now. I told you you'll be crying my phone.
It's a center, yes. It's
Excuse me.
They will be helping you for your
come.
workshop.
So, how are you?
Decide over the thing where you want to have.
Hello, Charity. Yeah. So now, what is the avatar house?
So, but see, it's lovely when you choose the timing and everything, and then you put it up on the yes. Like it's gonna be light. Yeah. Thank you. It's gonna be light. Wow. It's going to be a live workshop, and she's going to exercise.
Shishan? Excuse me, ma'am?
Yeah.
Can I put it away?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting to see if, I'm going to like to take a message, but it's just, I'm running over a little bit. That's okay. Thank you, thanks. Just, yeah, I'll just get some more people because it's so empty. I started that way too. Did you? Mine was kind of creative. I'll just tell it's. Can I wait? They started, they finished late. They finished late?
Yeah, I'm keeping the door open for
Okay,
people to
thanks.
Okay.
Hi.
I'm coming. So, she's the.
I'm
she's
the-
yeah. Okay. I'm in charge of this.
Oh,
Do you have any presentation to be made?
No,
PPT?
No, I did, but then somebody told me there are facilities.
No, the PPT is.
Oh, but it's okay, it's fine, I'm just gonna talk with my notes. Okay, so this is it then, Conrad.
They said 5 minutes.
Oh,
There's
So
like
let's
a-
wait for that.
Okay,
There's
there's no
another
rush?
No rush. I think I will ask session.
Now, may I, so the videographer, I was going to ask, because I see the mic on the floor, if it would be better for her to
Yeah,
use the
no,
mic?
she'll be using the mic. Because
Okay.
without that, we cannot go live.
Oh.
We cannot go live without the mic.
People are kind of scattering about.
It's also dinner time.
I know. This is not a
But you know what,
दरवाजा थोड़ा खोल के रखो, थोड़ा ऑडियंस भेजो अंदर।
नहीं कुछ प्रॉब्लम
कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, सब कुछ ठीक है। हाँ, कैमरामैन चाहिए लाइव जाने।
अरे रुक जा यार, हम एक का चले रहे हो।
मैम कुछ चलाओगे इसके ऊपर?
चलाओ?
नहीं, उस पे नहीं चलाएंगे।
मुझे लगा ना,
We'll wait for a few minutes. नहीं, वो लोग आना है, दरवाजा इसलिए दरवाजा खुला छोड़ो।
फिर बंद हो गया अपना अभी।
खोल के
Can you just bring people? Thank you.
Well,
I mean, it's a pity that we have to.
Yeah, yesterday what we had to do because we didn't get enough audience, so we made a round table and we had to chat one-to-one thing.
Do you know what, even if it's just two, I'm still gonna do it.
You can still
But
use
that
that
session
now.
was something different.
5 minutes में कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। 5 minutes में वो
5 minutes से ज़्यादा नहीं करना, आधा घंटा बंद करना।
नहीं मैम 5 minutes
5 minutes, 5 minutes, I'm very late.
Time start now.
What's your name? It's a beautiful name. Acid. This is my cousin.
So you stay
Gurgaon. I don't get a phase 2, so I don't know if we go by sectors.
No, my brother used to live there, but one of my cousins is still there.
That's phase 5.
MG. That's where my brother used to live.
Mall mine.
Yeah, Hampton Hall.
This trip is full
And all uses like at World Economic, the Women Economic Forum, all
Is this your first? There's so many wonderful women.
It is very good platform for influencers.
Yes.
They have amazing bottles of water and they have soda. Something that I might small bottle of water.
Because I think many of these have been opened.
I've been into many things. You know, but those days it's like the girls have to get married first before the stuff. So I've done lots of things. But now I'm shifting.
Oh, did you speak to She's doing something very similar. It's in this session.
Okay, so I know Rashmi, but
yeah, she's working in tourism. Yes, Rashmi. Yes, yes.
What I'm doing is trying to stop the rural migration to urban cities.
In Assam.
In Assam. And where I'm trying to do a holistic, I'm adopting a village and doing the holistic lessons in that village.
You must talk to this. She did something in a village between Uri and Puppetry. Okay, she's a dying therapy.
So that was what
I know a lot of people. And then
Wow. I'm here, tired and all. I'm here.
We have
Okay.
a small little, I'm going to try to
Yeah.
get these other ladies.
Okay, I'm gonna sit right over here.
Would you like some water?
I'm okay. I just had
Oh,
one.
thanks so much.
Is that a ready sari or is it tied?
Oh, okay.
Somebody
So,
kind of
yeah, I went to the Taj today. So we stopped at a rest stop, and I bought this. So the man put it on me.
that is why it's like that.
Right.
That is why it's like that.
The man put it on me. So by the time I got to the Taj, it was like falling all off. So this kind woman with a safety pin, she's like, let me just at least try and help you a little bit. So she goes and takes a pin, so she fixes it here.
So it's over your dress you've tied?
It's over my dress. Because I wasn't planning on, this just happened. I was just going to wear my dress. So I said, oh, so he says, oh no, so they sell you.
That's the best thing now what you can do is turn it around and make it into the Sita sari.
Well, you know what, the best thing I can do now is take off and throw my pajamas. Because I'm tired. This has been all day. So
I was thinking, is that like,
I don't even know.
Oh,
He had
like a scarf.
Yeah, he had it. Oh, a man dressed me because he had me all covered up so the world couldn't see. Right?
That must have been a very good experience.
Yeah, but it was good though. It's good. And it worked out well on the way home because in the car on the way back it was cold. So I was like, oh, this is now a jacket. So I was in the car.
See, it's a multifunction.
Yeah, so I'm going to wash you and then I'm going to sleep.
Oh, don't fall asleep in here.
Oh, no, I'm not going to fall asleep.
They're coming.
I'm speaking tomorrow.
Yeah.
You guys have to come to my session in the morning.
we will.
9:45.
Yeah.
I got to look at the room. I think I'm 5. I think I'm 5.
I'm stuck to this.
Yeah, but you're stuck here.
I'm stuck here.
Yeah.
And none of the other volunteers.
See, I think, you know, like later on, people are tired. They just, but you have us.
Oh, but I'm better.
That's right.
I was waiting for this person, Mike.
And you know, you have us, and you also have a video camera.
Well, that's what I'm gonna.
That's what this is for. Like I told my sister, she was in a session. She got moved to a session that was like two totally opposite topics, right? And mostly everybody was for the other topic, and she wasn't gonna do it. I said, "You're here for you.
Right.
Do it. It'll be video. You can put it on your website. Do it." And then the people, even though they weren't there for it, they enjoyed it. Come in. Join us. Join it. No.
Get some people. Just study. Get some people. It's okay. It's fine. We're just waiting for you.
Yeah. You must talk.
Can we talk about the rural villages?
No, we just.
We haven't chatted actually.
No.
Because we have all in the same time.
Okay.
I'm trying to stop the rural migration.
Areva, what are you doing?
So what's
लाइव है YouTube पे लाइव आ रहा है पता है वो चली गया ना
Oh, and I basically develop rural villages as tourism destinations.
We are also trying to like a summer session.
No, my work. I develop villages as tourism destinations. Oh, wow.
We should follow it.
Okay, start me now.
महंगे लगाओ ना
Sangeeta, I come for your session and I meet such wonderful people.
I just want to ask Diane, excuse me? And excuse me?
Start.
And how does this work?
Yeah.
Hello, Chief. Word, Chief. Hello.
Yeah, I was just sending you a text. I knew you fell asleep. I told
Hello.
Good evening, ladies. I couldn't have asked for a better audience this evening. Thank you so much for coming to this session. And I'm going to be talking about pushing for a more accurate portrayal of women in advertising. And I'm Sangeeta Waldron. I'm from London. I run my own PR agency called Serendipity PR. And I started out my career writing speeches for Prime Ministers and Ministers in the UK. And I've worked with some of the biggest global brands, The Economist Group, World Health Organization, The Times. And I've been over 20 years in communications and media. And I wanted to show you something. You all probably have read Vogue at some point, bought a copy. It's now available across regions across the world. But did you know you have to get to page 116 to get to your first page of editorial? All this beforehand is adverts telling us how we should look, feel, and be. How many ads do you think you see on average a day? Yeah. Do you know, it's a conservative estimate of 400 to 600 ads in a day. And that's a conservative estimate. And there's so much pressure put on women to look and feel a certain way from everyone's culture, wherever you might be in the world. And it's often easy to overlook how that makes us feel about ourselves and our bodies. When we're watching TV, reading magazines, even now when you're on the internet, all we see are airbrushed women who look a certain age, have a certain kind of figure, and those women are everywhere. And women and our body parts are selling everything from food to cars. And as humans, we absorb all this energy, and it makes us probably feel, I know, a lot of the time, not very beautiful about ourselves. And do you know why all these ads are in here selling the same image? It's because it's money, it's economics. Advertising and marketing and fashion industry until the late 80s has been male dominated, and today it still is. It's very, it's still a very, very male industry, and they've created a woman that doesn't exist through airbrushing, photo enhancing, and do you know what this woman is? She's fake news. Yeah, she's fake news. She doesn't exist. They've created an image of internal youth. Yet according to research by a beauty website called essentials.com, women over 45 now make up 58% of the cosmetic market. And yet you'll probably find a 21-year-old selling you a skin cream to enhance, get rid of all those wrinkles. And there's also, sadly, a lack of diversity in advertising, in these ads. And there's another piece of research by women in ads and body, and they found that the constant exposure to the ideal body image has lowered a woman's satisfaction with her own self. And I know we've got some ladies here from America, and the average American woman is 5'4" and weighs 140 pounds. The average model who's selling you these products is 5'11" and 117 pounds. So they're not even representing everyday women. And worryingly, 44% of women who are average or underweight think they are overweight. But the bigger picture here, this is what I think is really sad, is that half of young women between 16 and 21 would consider cosmetic surgery at such a young age. And they have many eating disorders, and we've seen a big increase in anorexia in the last 15 years. And the problem with body image also goes along with confidence. And the way we're constantly retouching our pictures, even when we're taking a selfie, we're trying to retouch, redo, because we're trying to be one of these women that doesn't exist. Remember, she's fake news. And the other thing is, to be this woman, we're constantly dieting, we're constantly buying all these products. And women have become so insecure about their bodies that we're always buying the products, we're always buying the diet aids. And the diet industry alone is worth $40 to $100 billion. And the one magic wish that young girls who are just 10 to 14, you know what their wish is?
Become thin.
To be thin, yeah.
Absolutely.
And the women in ads are not humanly attainable. It's not possible to be that thin because they don't even exist. They're enhanced, they're photoshopped. And when I started off, I briefly said about diversity. And I wanted to just touch on this here in India. I've lived here for 9 years, and India's had a huge transformation in its media. And there's been a big change in politics and climate and lifestyle, affecting both men and women. And up until 10 years ago, there was only one TV channel, the Doordarshan. You'd only get the morning newspaper, you'd have radio broadcasts, but now there's so much social media, there's so many magazines, but the portrayal of women in the media only swings between two characters, two kinds of women. And that is Mother India, where you had your sari all wrapped around you, or the glamour girl image. There's nothing in between. Women can't be anything in between. And just going back to my point of diversity, Vogue India celebrated, and maybe caught this story, celebrated 10 years, its 10th anniversary this month. And who do they put on the cover?
Was it difficult?
Okay.
Was it difficult?
You would hope it would be an Indian. No, they put Kendall Jenner. One of the Kardashians. They put on the front cover of Vogue India. And there are so many beautiful Indian women.
But then Kardashians is the popular show.
Yeah. But
for the 10th anniversary.
But the 10th anniversary.
With the younger one.
Yes. Yes.
So but half of us are very
Absolutely. And it's, again, it goes back to diversity. If a magazine in a region can't represent its own culture and people, then what hope is there elsewhere? And so brands are always telling us how we need to look. I mean, I've worked with some big brands, and they're always telling, what we want to get across, how we want to look. So everything is what we call in PR and media spin. And we think, as women, we think, if we just buy that one cream, eat that one diet bar, we're going to look like that. But sadly, it's not going to happen. And there's also, another interesting fact when I was doing all this research, perfumes. Perfumes always have very beautiful women to advertise that perfume, which is telling us if we spray that, we're not. There's no way we're going to turn into 6 foot blonde Amazonian women. And Dove's done some great work, and they found that women's magazines have 10.5 times more ads in their magazines than men do. And TV and movies reinforce the importance of a thin woman.
An aftershave ad has a woman, and I can never understand the connection between an aftershave and a woman.
Or if you wear that aftershave, that woman is going to be
attracted to you.
That ad is wasted on you. In the same research, Dove revealed that 3/4 of female characters in TV and film are underweight, and only 1 in 20 are above the average size. Now that's really sad because we all are exposed to TV and film in some shape and form. So what's changing? Brands like Dove, Lancome, L'Oreal, they are big spenders in advertising. They're actually doing some really exciting things. They're creating partnerships. They're changing the way they do their adverts. And we've probably seen, in the UK, we've got a very famous ad, and I don't know if it's around the world, but they have created an ad with everyday women.
Different body sizes.
Different body sizes.
No, and simple women like teachers. And with no makeup, nothing.
And so they're kind of pushing the conversation and they're pushing the boundary. But the reason why they're doing that is because the internet and through social media has opened up the conversation with the consumer. And we as consumers have been saying, your brand doesn't really represent us anymore. So we're pushing that agenda. And there's last year, Look magazine, which is a UK teenage young woman's title, they placed their first curvy model on the front cover. And they did that, in partnership with a retailer called Simply Be. But that was last year. That advert, that front cover would have happened 3 years ago. And we're now 2017. We've still got a long way to go. Ad agencies can really make a big difference by advising the client, not to Photoshop, keep images as they are. Bollywood and Hollywood can also be doing better. They could be giving older women bigger and better parts. And we've seen a lot of that in the news. Lots of older actresses are asking for bigger and better parts. And somebody told me yesterday, there was something out on social media, a 43-year-old actress was told she's too old to play the wife of a 53-year-old.
Bollywood.
I I'm not sure where that, I think it was in Hollywood. Was it Hollywood or Bollywood?
It was Hollywood. There was one in Hollywood as well.
Yeah, so I mean, 43 is young when you compare that to a 50, there's only a 10-year difference. Ad content is moving away from stereotypes, but it comes back to us to complain. If we complain, we can make change. And again, last year, there was a very controversial ad across, we have the tube, and we've got these big billboards. And on this billboard, there was a woman in her bikini, and it said, be beach body ready. And there was such an outcry. Women weren't happy to see that as they were travelling to work, and they complained. And the UK advertising watchdog had 360 complaints, and they took that ad down. So complaining does work. We can create change as the consumer. And then I want to leave you with this final thought. How can we as women feel empowered when we're constantly told we're not tall enough, we're not thin enough, we're not white enough, we're not good enough? We are actually more than all these things. And it's time to treat us with a little bit more respect and show us something that's not 100% perfect, because we can handle it. We're in the real world. And it's time for advertising and the rest of the media to embrace women as we are and who we are. Thank you. Any questions? Any questions from my lovely audience?
No, I got a question.
Oh, just a
share that recently Indian government has come out with this for the advertising companies that they are not going to be using any celebrities to endorse the brands unless and until it is proved that that brand actually has that effect. So there are a lot of celebrities who say that, I am eating this and this happens, so that has to be proven, otherwise they are banned. So now this new thing has come out. Yeah.
Others like they have come with more animal shots.
Animal shots. It could be a better way though.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be. You don't have to use animals to advertise something. There is a better way of doing this.
Well, I'm not just mine, so we're going to pick up right where you left off.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I realized is, even based on what you said, even with advertising, it's not just in advertising, it's in life in general. We have all these misconceptions and all these incorrect beliefs that other people have told us. Like other people have told us, you're too short, you're not smart enough, you're not this. And we start to believe those things, but based on other people's perceptions, not really ours. So I think one of the things that we have to do is we have to like clear our heads of all the garbage and all the clutter, and really start to assess our own personal worth from our own vantage point, because we are enough and we do have everything that we need to succeed in whatever we want to do. But we can't listen, and then today it's so bad because I can't even imagine growing up with like Facebook or Instagram. Like, I don't know if I would be where I am now if I had to compare myself with all these other people, and compare my success with all these other people.
But
it's hard. Don't you think it's hard now with so much going on?
But also what's going on with advertising and with this constant thing of being thin and being photoshopped and airbrushed.
And now the world can see it.
Yeah.
It's always been a problem, right? Like, every women, we want to be tall, we want to be thin, we want to be beautiful, right? But now, like, it's like the whole world is watching.
Yeah, but you know what?
It's not just your community anymore.
No.
Because you put your picture on Facebook and now the whole world can see it, right?
But you know what's also really worrying is that today we're talking about women. The younger generation of boys who are now 9, from the age of 9, are being affected by the stereotypes that we're expected. And they're actually having eating disorders. In my son's school, which is a primary school, they've had to bring in a therapist to talk to the boys about their weight, about feeling good about themselves, because there's so much pressure. And some of these kids, I don't understand how they can be on social media at such a young age, but they are. And they're feeling the pressure that they don't look a certain way. And
suicide rate is high.
Yeah, and it's really
and it's
sad because I'm a relationship coach and I work with teenagers as well, and the rate at which you see it's starting from age 8 that we're beginning to see girls trying to be who they're not and boys trying to be who they're not. And so what I'm trying to do with my nonprofit Love Not Hurt is create an awareness, not just for the children but the parents, because we live in this society where even the parents don't know who they are.
Yeah.
So it puts the pressure on the children, and I work with a lot with people in the UK to the point where they always make believe parties, and these children think that their parents have so much money, but it's credit cards and
it's all plastic.
So it's all plastic, and I just believe that the more we raise the awareness, the more of us that are out there trying to make the change, the more effective the people.
But a lot of these stereotypes just have come from the world of advertising, which has been not to be sort of down on men, but these advertising has been driven by men to sell these products, and they have created these women that don't exist. And the other thing, just very briefly, I want to say, with the we've just had the French elections in Europe, and there's a new French president whose wife is older than him. And there has been so much news coverage about it. But, and quite rightly, they said, I was watching the BBC, and the presenter said, there's not been as much conversation about Trump having such a young
He
wife.
said the same thing, and everybody is gaga over that, and nobody even blinked an eye. That Donald Trump, 76 years old, has a 43, 45-year-old wife. Nobody says
one, by the way.
They're a young one.
No, because he's a general officer.
Yes.
That's the double standard.
Sangeeta, another thing what this advertising does is, in India at least, and not today, but for many years, all men, all young boys want a beautiful, fair skinned wife. I mean, from where to get fair skinned wife for everybody?
But that's the thing. Why do Vogue have somebody who's non-Indian on the cover? It then reinforces that stereotype of being fair. Also, in this country, you still have a cream called Fair and Lovely.
So I just have to tell you about that.
And now there's Fair and Lovely.
Which is most used. They even sell sachets this small of it so that it is affordable to even slum dwellers.
Yes.
And that is the widest, biggest selling cream or cosmetic in the world. In the world. Because India has the largest population. So the number that is sold is worldwide. Now they have this company called this TV channel called NDTV, which is one of our they have banned any advertisement of fairness products. So no fairness product is advertised on NDTV. So it's a big loss to their revenue, and there are a lot of big actors, Bollywood actors, who do not endorse fairness products. Because they will not endorse fairness. Because it's racist.
It is.
Of course, and also the rise in crime, because then you see those advertisements, you see those women, the way they are portrayed, and you feel that I cannot get her, then I will see to it that somebody else, like that frustration. The case that happened 4 years back, I mean, it was such a terrible thing.
And then you have Snapchat helping these girls believe that there's a make-believe world of perfection, and it's just the filters and.
But I think the more
awareness.
Yes.
Because
our Bollywood actresses only, Sonakshi Sinha has been body shamed so much that she was compelled to go and lose weight because she was not getting films.
But the same thing was done with Ashbury Ryan when she went to Cannes in 2014, and she just had a baby. It was made big news, even in the UK, that the Indian media harangued her about losing weight. She said, I'll lose weight in my own time. My priority is being a mother.
Right. And she took a long time to lose weight. Yes. On the other hand, you have Kareena Kapoor, who's given birth 2 months ago and is already back to her.
And but then she continued during the pregnancy also.
She was big during the pregnancy.
But somebody, I mean, I think slowly but surely people are listening. I went shopping before I came here for some jeans. I went to Macy's, and I was shocked that they had, in my size, curvy jeans. And so, and I put them on, and I was so excited because they were quite, they fit without having the, do the jump. But, but now they're actually too big for me. But I'm okay with that because I can fit in them, I can breathe them.
I think in the US that's more available than in UK.
Yeah. But I mean, in France, the campaign against with the models, models. I mean, people are listening little by little. We just have to keep going.
We have to keep going. There's also there's a great film called Embrace. Have you heard of it? It was produced by a woman, just an ordinary woman who's got a daughter who's about 4, and she was constantly this mom was constantly on diets. And she thought, what kind of world am I bringing up my daughter? So she went round to look at, she travelled the world. She went all around the world to look at how women feel about their bodies. And we all, whatever part of the world we're in, whether it's Mexico, or Berlin, the UK, India, we all have the same thing. We don't feel we're good enough. And we want to lose weight. We want to be thinner. And she created this film, and her name is Taryn, I've forgotten her last name, but it's a great film. And if you get a chance to watch it. And she's now, from this film, which she's self-financed, it's become a campaign to get women to think differently about themselves. And she went into a high-end luxury store. And they don't have anything in that store, a size 12, a UK size 12, which I think is a size 8.
Yeah, it's a size 8. 8, 10, 8, 10.
They don't stock. Yeah. They don't stock. So it's 0 to 6.
Oh my
God. The store.
Yeah.
Where?
It was one of these luxury. She went in to have a look. I don't know. She must have been maybe in the States.
0 to 6. No, 0 to
6. 0 to 6.
They don't stock higher sizes.
0 to 6. No, those.
0. My arm is bigger than a 0.
Yeah, she won't even fit into 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just believe we just have to keep, because I raise awareness about self-confidence, and I help. I do image consulting as well for girls and women who have, lost who they are, and it's more of raising that awareness and letting women embrace who they are without allowing the society or the advertising world to change them.
But it's so hard.
It's very hard.
Because when you're constantly bombarded. Remember, 400-600 ads on average a day to kind of keep your head above that. It's not easy. It's tough. Unless those ads start changing and they become more real, then we're not fighting against anything. It's easy to embrace ourselves.
With Tanishq, there is a jewelry brand, Tanishq, in India, and they have advertised now. I mean,
it's a Tata company.
It's a Tata company, yeah. And the model is dusky, and the model is also getting married for the second time. So she is a divorcee, and her young daughter is also showing it. So that was a huge write-up on the ad, because otherwise nobody shows this kind of an ad.
Because also in India, being divorced is also a little bit compared to
yes.
Yeah.
And that to show it on a public thing, that okay, it's okay, and that to endorsing a second marriage for a woman openly. So it's a huge shift for a brand like Tata.
Yes.
A jewelry brand.
That's the same problem in Africa as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Once you get divorced, like I shared yesterday, when I got divorced, I was rejected by my family. So I just said, this is my purpose, to help other women go through, and if there's a marriage that can be healed, help them heal. Because most of the time when women get divorced now, it's putting on that fake identity, the makeup, the clothing, the milky lotion, and they think, oh, I'm now emerging into somebody that I'm not. And it's more of, you don't need all of those things to define you.
No, again, why this in Indian society? Because our films have always portrayed women.
Mother India, the glamorous.
No, and she will take all shit,
yeah.
but she will still remain married. She will
Sacrificing
Sacrifice.
your doormat.
Exactly. I mean, you're not supposed to think. I mean, how selfish can she be if she thinks of herself? That is a portrayal of a woman. You know?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
This is advertising only.
It's everything. Film, TV, it's across
Oh, look
everything.
at our Indian serials. Oh my God.
What do you mean, like the cereal you're eating?
No, the
No,
TV, the
the
drama
TV
soaps.
soap operas.
They all highlight this sacrificing woman who's ideal daughter-in-law, mother, wife, who's
And
always...
it's still happening. I'm
Yeah,
surprised that the stories haven't
the-
changed today even.
And the ones who break that tradition are the baddies, the bads.
They are the
Yeah, I
ones.
have a friend who used to be in Hollywood. She couldn't do it. She had to leave. She said, I'm standing on my feet. I'd rather not compromise who I am with their standards. So she does Broadway now.
Oh, wow. That's probably better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
Yeah, one photo.
Ma'am, मैं कर
Before you put your pajamas on.
You're all welcome to come to my session tomorrow.
Yeah, we will.
Not you.
What's up?
Yeah, 9:45. It's going to be on mindset. I'm going to pick up what she talked about. See a picture.
The money to the trip.
Come girls, we'll just take a picture.
And let's stand here because your faces are getting cut with the light. So let's stand. Yeah. Come along, happy.
Yeah.
Give them a photo. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't work.
It's pinned up.
Finally.
Take a good one.
One more.
I know, I'm getting my camera.
One more face.
One face is not showing much. Okay.
One more face. Wait, of course. If you do this one, the battery's going to die. It's been a long day, pardon me. If it falls, just excuse me.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Okay,
Why not? Thank God there's only like, what, 10 of us in this?
I don't know. I'm not giving mine because you're going to send it to me, right?
But you know what? I couldn't have asked for a better group of women.
I know.
Thank
We're
you so
really
much.
so much.
Those sessions are always better.
Thank you.
And see, I just met you.
Yeah.
So look at God.
I just met, but no, I was hoping she went in. You know, this connection.
Yes, I just went in the place to get wine because I was tired of my clothes for a long time.
And I'm originally from Michigan. I say hi to a tree.
You know, I lived in Optimus for a year.
Yeah.
I started off at Trinity Law School.
Did you?
Yes. Then I transferred back home to City Hall. That's where I was at. Detroit. Okay. And you know, Detroit College of Law ultimately moved on Michigan State's campus. Yeah. Small world.
Oh my goodness.
So if you guys are available tomorrow, 8:45, I think I'll be seeing
You want to see me tomorrow?
It's called Mindset.
Yeah.
Ready, set, source.
I don't have your card yet.
I'm gonna give it to you. I don't have it on me.
Okay.
Everybody just walked in that place.
Gotcha.
Because I was out all day. I went on a tour. So I just kind of went there. Tomorrow at 9:45.
Oh, okay. I'll be there.
I think it's CM5. If you forget the room, it's Mindset. Ready, set, soar.
Do you want to come to that?
9:45. I'll come.
Yeah, 9:45.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Bye.
yeah, you have to go to Thai. And leave early.
Yeah, we're leaving about 5 o'clock.
Yeah, we left 6 in the morning. It was fine. It was good. You have. I said you can't be here all week and not see anything. I bought this at a rest stop.
We actually bought some of this today.
I don't know yet.
If it isn't this room, I'll be so happy.
Yeah, so I was on the 6th floor. We just came back. I was tired. I told my sister, I said, I'll be back. I'm going to go get wine. And then I met them in there, and they said, come to the session, so I came back.
Yeah, when we find out we're
I'm taking some pictures.
Oh yeah, we're going to, yes, in July.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Whose friend is this?
So I met my first friend already.
National
All right, see you tomorrow. Okay.
Bye.
Enjoy tomorrow too.
I mean, this is your friend? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay, for me it's good night.
All right.
All right, tomorrow.
Careful how you take the pins off.
My sorry.
I know, right?
My sorry.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, because she just had hers.
Yeah, they just told me on my way down that he was here, so.
Oh, late. You know what? You 2 and 3. I could, you really made it special for me. So thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
It was so, honestly, thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
You are my, I'm so glad we connected.
Sister from another
Yes,
mister.
yes, yes. And I love this lady's name. It means eternal love.
Oh.
Awesome.
Alan Canada.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. You were great. No, and I love that you participated. Yeah, made it.
There's the singer recently, because the Hollywood actresses, they cannot endorse any products, so they have been asked to endorse the states of India. So we have a Bollywood actress, Priyanka Chopra, for a son.
She's big in America, in that Quantico.
Quantico, yeah.
Priyanka Chopra.
Yes.
Priyanka Chopra. So what happened? She has been made Assam's ambassador. So she went there. First of all, she said, I will not step out of the hotel. And they paid her, say, about 1 million.
Wow.
And she said, I will not step out from the hotel. She will not wear the Assamese dress. So they photoshopped her in some jungle, some areas with rhino and this thing at the back. It was all photoshopped. And then this thing. Then the caption was wild. It's Assam because it's naturally wild. It's naturally wild. That means we are all wild people then.
Oh, well, I hope she's suing them because they're.
We have sued them. We have sued her only.
Because she didn't want to be.
I know.
Yeah.
And they can't use her image.
No.
For
Yeah.
her
Yes.
photos. Now without her.
Is that your computer?
Then why did she take the money?
But you know what? I'm a bit annoyed.
$1
They
million?
didn't get they didn't even put my bio correct.
Well, then she,
Yeah,
And she has no.
you have to get in touch with
If she
Nikita.
has taken
If
the
you
money,
email it
that
to
means she's
Nikita, she'll change
responsible
it.
for what comes
But
out.
it's too late now.
Wow.
Oh, you mean for the next
Tomorrow,
Yeah,
no?
the next
There's no session.
Oh, no. You know what? They haven't even got my bio correct.
Okay.
So
And you have to tell the social media.
Yeah,
This
Nikita.
room.
This
Control room.
Control. It's next door.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's next to 5.
Okay.
What are they doing with the video? Do they live stream?
Yeah, they live stream them. They're all on
YouTube.
website and YouTube.
Okay, I need to let my husband.
So I'm going to ask them to